Hi, this is Charlene Burke with Grow Because You Know. That's www.growbecauseyouknow.com. Welcome to Morning Mindset Cafe. Today we're talking about overcoming procrastination. Having a self-starter. Let's get into that to find out what that really means. What we're doing is we're taking inspiration and guidance from the book Success Through a Positive Mental Attitude, written by Napoleon Hill and W. Clement Stone. There's a PDF in the live stream you can download, and this is my copy. This is all about the secret of getting things done. We're going to find a self-motivator for you. Now, from the book, we're going to recommend one for you. See how that sits with you and try it for a while. And if it doesn't work, find one for yourself. And the idea is that your self-motivator is so powerful it will subconsciously force you to desirable action. Because it's a self-motivator, which equates to a self-starter. So we have to take this seriously. And I only say that because I'm going to warn you, I tried this half-heartedly, and while it worked half the time, it didn't work the other half because I didn't take it seriously. The idea is that when you use it at will, you overcome procrastination and inertia. You actually do get things done. We have story after story after story of successful people who achieve greatness. And in many cases, these stories we're quite familiar with because they achieved greatness in the eyes of others, as well as having achieved the success they were going after. This also applies to those of us who want greatness for ourselves. It doesn't have to matter that anybody else sees it, but we want to achieve things and we want to get things done and we want to move forward and we want to grow. The idea is simple, actually. Now, there's a lot in here that prefaces what I'm about to say. So let me tell you about Reverend James Keller, and he's a Maryknoll Father of the Jesuit order. And he'd been developing an idea for a long time. He hoped to motivate little people to do big things by encouraging each to reach beyond his or her own little circle to the outside world. I love this because I think that the reason you're here with me and that you're watching the replay is because you don't want to be in your itty bitty little circle. You actually want to expand. You want to expand your heart, your mind, your business. You want to expand your network. You want to expand your horizons. You want to expand your thinking. You want to connect with others outside of your little circle, and you want to think bigger. So, having said that, the biblical command, go ye forth into all the world, was to him the symbol of an idea whereby the mission he had in mind could be fulfilled. When he responded to this command, he employed the secret of getting things done, and when he did, he went into action. This was in 1945, and it was then that he organized the Christophers, a most unusual organization because it had no chapters, no committees, no meetings, no dues. Doesn't even have a membership in the usual sense of the word. It simply consists of people, and no one can say how many, dedicated to an ideal. Does this sound familiar? Movements and causes happen with this. You know, I am because I say I am, right? The Christophers operate on the concept that it's better for people to do something and pay nothing than to pay dues and do nothing. And what's the ideal to which each is dedicated? Each Christopher is dedicated to carry his religion with him wherever he goes throughout the day, into the dust and heat of the marketplace, into highways and byways, into the home. And thus he brings the major truths of his faith to others. The thrilling story is told by Reverend James Keller in You Can Change the World. came about because he conceived and believed in an ideal, but he did little or nothing about it until he responded to the secret of getting things done. You get the feel of the secret from the statement of E. Bauermeister, supervisor of education at California Institution for Men in Chino, California. And this is what he told the authors being Napoleon Hill and W. Clement Stone. I always tell the men in our self-adjustment class that too often what we read and profess becomes a part of our libraries and our vocabularies instead of becoming a part of our lives. Now remember the biblical statement, for the good that I would, I do not, but the evil which I would not, that I do. Now, how can you train yourself to get into action immediately when it is desirable? And then we told Mr. Bauermeister how the good things we read and profess can become a part of our lives. We gave him the self-starter for getting things done. How do you make the secret of getting things done a part of your life? By habit. Develop a habit through repetition. Sow an action, you reap a habit. Sow a habit, you reap character. Sow character, you reap a destiny. So says great psychologist William James. He was saying that you are what your habits make you. And you can choose your habits. You can develop any habit you wish when you use the self-starter. So now, what is the secret of getting things done? What is the self-starter that forces you to use this great secret? The secret of getting things done is to act. The self-starter is a self-motivator. Do it now. All caps with an exclamation point. Do it now. As long as you live, here's the kick. As long as you live, never say to yourself, do it now, unless you follow through with desirable action. Whenever action is desirable and the symbol, do it now, flashes from your subconscious mind to your conscious mind, immediately act. Make it a practice to respond to this self-starter, do it now, in little things. You will quickly develop a habit of a reflex response so powerful that in times of emergency or when opportunity presents itself, you will act. Sounds simple, doesn't it? Now, I'm going to say right now and back up the importance of being careful to not do this half-heartedly. Number one, if you say to yourself, I will begin today to develop a habit, when I say do it now to myself, I will get things done. Okay? So we all commit to doing that. Let's say every one of us in here say that to ourselves right now. I commit to beginning the action, to developing a habit, so that whenever I say to myself, do it now, things get done. And we do that. And then we come across something where we say, do it now, and we don't go into action. I just lied to myself. See, I'd committed to doing something. And when the opportunity came to do it, to make a change, I let myself down. I lied to myself. I want you to think about that for a second. How easy is it to say, well, I can always do it tomorrow. A lot of good that did to take care of the procrastination. So what it means is you're really not committed to change. If you're committed to change, you do the action. Yes, it is that simple. It is for me. And I'll tell you, there's nothing worse than my having to do a spot check and wonder why I'm feeling out of sorts. Why I'm feeling a little off. Why I'm mentally distracted. I take a moment and I take a breath and I do a spot check. And I say, I'm not doing what I committed to myself to do. I just let myself down. Yes, it is much worse than letting other people down, and I'll tell you why. Begin the habit of letting yourself down and accepting that you don't follow through on commitments to yourself. It becomes easier to say that about people. So what kind of character are we building when we can say to ourselves, I know I told him I'd meet him at 2 o'clock, but I'll shoot him a quick text at 2:05 and say, looks like I'm going to be late. Oops, sorry, not going to make it. Something else came up. Or worse, stand them up, not show. And then say later, oh, yeah, I saw that on my calendar. I'm really sorry. Forgive me. Let's reschedule. And all the while you're thinking to yourself, yeah, I could have made it, but you know what? It was more fun to go over here. Yeah, they're not that important. That's what you're saying to yourself and other people. That's why it's all about personal development, right? This is why it's all about making us better. I'm trying to make me better. So when I let myself down and I don't hold true to the commitments that I said I would, when I lie to myself with that self-starter, when I say do it now and I don't, I come up with an excuse not to do it, I let myself down. Would love your thoughts on that. If you have any. Because I mean, seriously, if you want a new habit, that implies that you're replacing an old habit, and the old habit is procrastination. The old habit is putting things off. The old habit is disrespecting yourself and others. Any one of those, right? The old habit is lying to myself. So I want to replace that with a new habit. And yet, if the new habit continually acts like the old habit, I haven't done anything different, have I? And I'm no better for it. That's why I love the spot checks. I mean, I get disappointed. I disappoint myself, and I do that spot check inventory and the annual that I've talked about that's in these books that I've done them for years. I've taken a look at where I've done well and where I haven't done so well. And it's just an honest assessment of who I am and where I am right now compared to where I was last year, 6 months ago, 3 months ago, yesterday. And it's a spot check to see how I'm doing on the changes I had wanted to make in myself. And yeah, there's times I've sat and said, not sure what the block is. Something's happening here. I really did want to change this. So disappointment is there, and I recognize it and I recommit to changing it. And when I follow through with action, amazing things happen. Amazing. So when I don't follow through, that I continue to disappoint myself. I continue to let myself down, and now I can't trust myself when I say, yeah, I'm going to do it. So if I can't trust myself when I say I'm going to commit to something, how can you trust me? How can you? Because my actions aren't matching my words. See, the same thing applies to myself. So, having said all that, we have a comment coming in. We have, I'm a champion procrastinator. Often the tighter I am on a deadline, the better I am to get things done. Well, it used to be the case. It used to be a great adrenaline rush. To get things done seemed like a good feeling. Now, after the eyesight challenges, she's currently legally blind, the last minute needs to come earlier. So now I need to start sooner because putting things off to the last minute is becoming more stressful, resulting in a negative feeling and negative self-talk. Excellent insight. That is excellent insight. When I became a bus rider, I became much better getting to places on time because I could not leave at the last minute and expect to be somewhere on time. It is one area that had to change in the procrastination area. Now that makes sense because you're reliant on somebody else's schedule. You see, there's real consequences when somebody else sets the schedule and you don't abide by it. What we need to learn is there's real consequences when we have our own schedule, when we have our own agenda and we don't abide by it. You are correct that disappointing myself is much worse on my psyche than disappointing others. Maybe it's because I hate disappointing others. I do a lot to avoid it, but when it comes to myself, it's much easier, and then I beat myself up with guilt talk. And there it all sits, right? It seems easier because I don't have to deal with you face to face. And I don't even have to deal with me face to face. I can talk myself into anything I want while I'm outside, while I'm facing a wall, whatever it takes. Yeah, it's easier. There's nobody there to say, what are you talking about? You're nuts, which is what I fully expect somebody to say to me. Sure, it's easier. And if that's where I want to stay, if that's where you want to stay, fine. Just don't complain when you're not better and things around you are better. If that's not where you want to stay and that is not where I want to be, then recognize it and let's replace that with a self-starter. So the recommendation from the book is the self-starter in all caps. Can I type? No. Is do it now. It's committing to ourselves, to me, I'm committing to myself, you're committing to yourself, that when you want to procrastinate, when you're presented with something that you're hesitating because your normal habit is to put it off, say to yourself, do it now, and then do it. Get into the habit of every time you say, do it now, and do it, there comes a time when you don't have to consciously think about it. The subconscious comes up and you see this flash, do it now, got it. Now, if after time you find that those words aren't working for you, find your own. Let's roll. What's another one? I don't know. Share what you've got. This is just coming from the book. Let's go. Now is as good a time as any. That's a bit long. That's too many. That's more of like a tagline, right? More of a motto rather than a self-starter. The idea here is that you want to overcome procrastination, which means that you want to get things done. So in order to get things done, you actually have to take some action. And what's holding you back from action is a habit. It's a habit of procrastination. So let's replace that habit with something better, something that will help you get it done. I hope that makes sense to everybody. All right, so it is the secret to getting things done, is to have this self-starter. It's a self-motivator. It is about, and it's not, I can go further into the book. It is not just, it's not just the little things. This works with the big things as well. When you look back, right? Look back a little bit and say to yourself, ask yourself when you have regret because an opportunity passed you by, which means you didn't see it or you didn't take action on it. When you see those you've worked with before moving forward and you're wondering why you're not. Maybe you've had collaboration partners that just didn't do their part. And we all know when you're in a team and somebody isn't pulling their weight, isn't doing their part, it drags everybody down, doesn't it? So in essence, let's take a look at that. I can look at this, and I've been a part of a team on both sides. I've been the weight, and I've been the one that has been weighted down. And when I look at it honestly, I was the weight, and I was the one that dragged people down because I wasn't certain of my commitment to the group. I wasn't solid in my commitment. I questioned the vision of whomever was in charge. I was kind of, I wasn't really all into it. I mean, that's it. I was asked to be a part of something, and while I believed in what I was a part of, I didn't believe in my own skill set that I was bringing to the table. So that's what's coming to mind when I was the one that held the group back. Now, I can't read the mind of the other person, right? So in a group that I'm in, the working team now, we had a member that, oh, for God's sakes, you're not listening to what we're saying. You're saying you're going to do something, and literally next meeting, nothing is done. Literally. Saying all the right things, but not doing anything. Right? And all I can say is that being a part of that group it was frustrating. It was difficult. It was, man, we just got to kick you out. You just have to. You're an anchor. That's what I meant by weight. That's what I meant by weight. Weighing somebody down, right? Weighing a group down is like an anchor. We can't move forward because you're holding us back, right? It's a, come on, get on board. So what are you bringing to the table, right? That was their responsibility, just as it was my responsibility as the team member who was the anchor to say, maybe I'm not a good fit right now. And for the good of the team, it was our responsibility to let loose of the anchor. But it's still their responsibility to change it. It's not mine to change you, right? Oh, I appreciate that you'd like to talk, but I don't know you. And I've been around for almost a year. And so I'm very careful about those who have IDs that don't tell me anything and, have anything in your profile to tell me who you are or what you bring to the table, so to speak. So chat a little bit and let us get to know you a little bit. So I too have been on both sides of the fence. I think remembering how frustrating it felt to be the one pulling a group forward feels when I want to put things off. Whew, I'm telling you, it really is like an anchor, right? It really is. It's like tug of war, isn't it? And I guess that's kind of like what it is with ourselves, isn't it? When I want to do something different or I want things to change, and yet I keep lying to myself by not putting these into action and not getting things done, right? So if you have a problem with procrastination and you want to change that, use a self-starter. So as we said, the book is giving us the self-starter of do it now. How to tell ourselves, do it now. And I'm going to recommend that Robert and whoever has an idea of destroy, it's difficult to think that you want positive change, that you take your conversation elsewhere. You're distracting us from our morning mindset. Or join us in the conversation about what is a good self-starter to overcome that procrastination. What are you willing to commit to saying to yourself to stop making excuses? Love that. Yeah, what can you say? The do it now is, one way to say it, right? A good self-starter. Yep. Positive mindset. That's what we're looking at. How do we get the day started? What can we take away so that we can move forward with the day to overcome procrastination? Stop putting things off. So again, the book, which is an excellent place to always refer to, tells us a lot of things. Procrastination in the little things makes it very difficult to take action when you're presented with an opportunity that is fantastic, right? Battles have been lost because people put off desirable actions. Think about that. Battles in war have, who would hesitate? He who hesitates loses. Have you heard that one? Ideas are forgotten. You wander around and you always wonder why you're stuck where you are. So one of the things that we can do is commit to ourselves that a simple self-motivator, self-starter to achieve something, to get something done, you can do it in the small stuff. You have a project sitting on your desk right now that needs attention. Do it. Finish it. Somebody that you've been needing to call and been putting off because you didn't want the conversation, stop. Make the call. Do it now. Oh. You want to commit to change? Commitment implies action. Action helps you get things done. Are you still, how about this? Are you scared of your own best ideas? Something that often prevents us from seizing the now is a certain timidity in the face of our own inspirations, that self-doubt. And we're told here that it's exactly this kind of boldness that produces the most spectacular results. It takes a certain boldness to step out on an untested idea, doesn't it? Yes, it does. Now, in the book, we have the self-motivator. So we decide we are going to do this now. We are going to take advantage of an opportunity in front of us. So now what? Oftentimes we're telling ourselves and other people, I can't because. Excuses. I can because, or how can I? So for those in the live stream, if you'd like a copy of this book, I happen to have one printed in 1969. Yes, you can buy it online, but there is a PDF download available to you, and it appears in the seat next to me. You simply click on that, and that'll take you to a PDF download of the book. And you are welcome to do that. So, how do you know the download is safe? then don't download and go purchase it on Amazon. Success Through Positive Mental Attitude. That's what the cover looks like. It's available for purchase. It's also available in the public domain, which is why I offer it for free for the download. Up to you. Just do it. Just do it, right? That's where it comes. See, here's another self-motivator you could do, right? The self-starter. Just do it. Actually, it's not from my website, just so you know. It comes from Google Drive. It's a Google Drive download rather than having you go to my website. So, because you don't know me. But thank you for the vote of confidence, Cindy. Appreciate that. Others have downloaded it, and I've not heard any issues with them downloading it. But getting your own copy is pretty darn good. I'm telling you, this is, if you're familiar with Think and Grow Rich, it's very, very similar. It's just different stories and different ways of looking at things, which is pretty awesome. So the secret of getting things done, overcoming procrastination. It's not that big of a secret, right? When we boil it down, it just takes action. But what do we tell ourselves to get us into action? That's the secret. What do we say to ourselves so we don't feel like we're lying to ourselves or letting ourselves down? Stop that, right? Stop doing that, and instead let's change it with something else. So we start with something small. I have my list of things to do today, which actually is pretty short, but I have a pretty full day because it's filled with meetings and what have you. And I have prep work to do before each of those. And what I do is I look ahead to see what's coming up. I don't want to wait till the last minute because then I'm going to be stressed. I don't like feeling stressed, and I don't like feeling wigged out because I'm not prepared. So I do what needs to be done to prepare myself. In general, I can say that I have overcome procrastination. And it's because I just don't like the way it feels. I don't like letting myself down. I don't like letting other people down. There's a lot of things I don't like about procrastination, right? And I feel great when I tackle something that I want to pull off or put off. Those conversations, the uncomfortable conversations, when I've had to fire a client, when I've had to address issues on a team, when I've had to, as you know, I facilitate mastermind groups for business owners, and sometimes somebody gets kind of wigged out, and I have to step in, and it can be uncomfortable. I have to tell somebody to back off. Well, yeah, it can be uncomfortable, but it has to be done because it was a commitment I made to the group that I would do these things. And when I do them, I feel good because I've honored the commitment I made to myself and to others. And I really do prefer that feeling over the feeling of disappointment that I've let you down, that I let myself down. But what do I tell myself, right? It's what the book's saying. Well, let's do it. Get it done. I don't want to have to do this. Doesn't matter what you want. It needs to be done. Let's go. That's my self-talk, right? Sometimes, and people in here have heard me say this, for me, sometimes I've actually said, I don't care what I think, feel, or believe. Action is required. That's what the subconscious takes over, right? That's when I see action needs to happen, and it really doesn't matter what I think, feel, or believe. I just have to take the action. And when I do that, good things and amazing things happen for me. So I think when people say things to derail a topic or change the subject in a conversation, it's a way of procrastination because they're uncomfortable with discussing the topic at hand. I know I've been guilty of this at times. Well, that's an interesting take, Cindy. diversion, right? Let me divert you from talking about this because I'm uncomfortable about it. So bring up a different topic or distract you with something else. That's a form of procrastination. Put off what needs to be discussed. That can be looked at that way. Good morning, Jimmy. Welcome. So what are some, are there any other self-starters you can come up with? The book says do it now. Get in the habit of saying that and then doing the action immediately. Get in the habit of every time you say do it now, immediately follow it with action. Do not disappoint yourself. Do not take your commitment lightly, and never say it without action following, or you will disappoint yourself and you will show that you're not ready. You will feel bad. You've committed to making this change, so let's do it. Do it now, right? So it's another self-starter. Or are there any others that are coming to mind? So you're saying that I am ready to do it now. We'll make that a little stronger, okay? If that's what fits for you. Excellent. And another question I can put out to you, might be in the form of a small challenge, is what have you been putting off? What have you been putting off that you know needs attention, that you know needs action, but you've been putting it off, that you would be better for having taken action on, and others would be better for having taken action on it? Identify that. Tackle it. Do it. See the caveat there? That you know that others will benefit from you having taken action, that you know you will have benefit from taking action. Because I know, Christian, you're in here and you're going to be grateful that you're going to be so happy I said this. Not grateful. Hopefully you're going to pat me on the back and say, good job, Charlene. There are some things that I know need to be done, but I won't do it because it will cause harm to myself or harm to somebody else. And that is something that the book teaches us, is that you don't do something when you know for certain it will cause harm until you've reviewed it to determine that the harm it causes isn't as great as the help it will provide. We don't go against the universal law of do no harm to ourselves or to others. We also don't do things just because we want to, right? Always conscious of there's other people that might be involved in what I'm doing. That's some of the bigger stuff. Sometimes it stops us because we've determined that, again, it's not procrastination then, is it? Then it now becomes, well, an honest analysis of what does moving forward look like, and who will be affected by it, and are they on board? And if they're not, is there a way to get them on board? And is it okay that they're not on board? Is there a way that I can move forward without causing harm? Now it's no longer procrastination. Now it is personal analysis and project analysis to determine the efficacy of moving forward, which means you've overcome the procrastination and you're taking action because you're actually looking at it seriously. See the difference? All right, so other thoughts? Okay then. So commit to changing your habit of procrastination to a habit of action through a self-starter by telling yourself, do it now, immediately followed by action and doing it. whatever it is that's in front of you that you have said, do it now. Do it, follow with action, and after a period of time, you won't have to consciously think about it. You will have changed procrastination into action. All right, so I will be closing out the recording portion. I want to thank you all for being here, and your comments have been terrific. I appreciate those. Those who don't have a copy of the book, yes, the PDF link is there. The blabs, blab is not awesome when it comes to notifying people or letting you know that upcoming blabs are there. So I have created a page on my website for blabs. Those are scheduled for this week. If you're interested in joining us weekday mornings, go there. For those watching the recording, you can go to growbecause.com/blabs. Those that are interested in success mindset resources, changing your thinking, I have a grouping of downloads available to you at, again, that's a Google link. I encourage you to go there and check those out. So this is Charlene Burke with Grow Because You Know. That's www.growbecauseyouknow.com. Let's move forward with the day on purpose, with purpose, to grow our hearts, grow our minds, and grow our businesses. Until next time, have a great day.